Thank you for listening to Podcasting by Brett Thomas. I really appreciate you. And I'm really trying to grow this thing, and I'm going to try to take it as far as I can go and get as many listeners. I really appreciate it. If you could ever like and share any of the posts I do or my podcast with like your friends, grandma, mother-in-law, that'd be perfect. I thought it'd be better to beg when I only have 10 episodes rather than when I'm 60 and have thousands of episodes out for listeners. Um, so we got about like 30 years until that happens. So hopefully I'm not begging for listeners in 30 years on this podcast. But who knows? I might. I mean, there's nothing wrong with begging. Um, you know, you don't know unless you don't ask. So that's what I like to live by. You don't know if you don't ask. You walk up to a woman and like, "Are you pregnant?" And she's like, "No." Well, I didn't know and unless I asked. I wanted to congratulate you on your sleeping with your husband, but I can make that joke because I'm overweight. I'm almost 300 pounds. I thought I lost some weight, but I didn't. Like when I found out how much I weighed at the doctor's because I've been weighing myself, I literally cussed. Not at the nurse, but she understood. At myself. But the thing is I was surprised as I cut out fast food, I cut out sugary beverages, I don't eat late at night except if I'm really hungry and I didn't eat dinner, but that's maybe like once every 2 weeks. I just cut down eating out in general. And but I guess it was winter weight. I just blame I just blame all my weight loss problems on winter weight because I think it's funny. Just winter weight. Just I have an excuse for everything. So, on today's episode, though, I'm gonna talk about how to be a good listener. Like, listen to this podcast, how to make a good baked potato, and then I went to trivia last night, which was very interesting. So I went to trivia. I'm not gonna name the spot because I do like it, and I don't want to like harass small businesses. I don't want to give them a bad rap unless say they stab me or throw food in my face. So I don't really want to do that. Well, I went to a trivia last night and it was horror themed trivia, and you had to pay like 25 bucks a ticket per person, which is fine because it's an event. It's fun. I had a lot of fun. They were open after hours. Then they did raffle tickets. It was three tickets for $5. So I got six tickets for $10. They called my number first. But before I was asking the waitress, I was like, "Oh, what are the gifts?" And she's like, "Oh, like, oh, that's cool. They wanted to be a surprise. It's gonna be something awesome." She comes over. Once I won my raffle, I thought it was weird. I wouldn't go up and get it. The server will come over to you. I'm like, okay, I wonder what it is. It was a free appetizer that I already ordered. So I spent $10 and they took off a $12 appetizer. And not to be a Karen, they forgot to put it off. When I got the bill, I didn't want to say anything, but I did just because like I won the raffle. I don't know. And she's like, "Oh, I took it off, but they put it back on." I was like, "Wow, they must have really wanted to charge me for this appetizer." Basically, they could have just handed me $2. That's basically what I won from the raffle. Is I won $2 because I paid 10 and the appetizer was 12. Even though she like took off the appetizer, I still tipped her a couple bucks that would have been for the appetizer because I think you should tip your server fairly. A lot of people don't, which is very surprising and sad. But what are you going to do? People are like, "Well, if I get bad service," I'm like, I don't care if I get bad service. It's like, who cares? Just give them money. Like, I don't know. It's like, how stingy can you be? Because like it's usually like you're splitting hairs between a couple bucks. If you're like, "Oh, I'm gonna only give them 10% because they had bad service," like you don't know what they're going through, and you're gonna be like, "I'm gonna give them $3 less because they forgot my ranch." Also, like I don't really judge servers, but like serving is one of the only jobs to where you get judged by your mistakes and that affects your money because people are like, "Oh, they did so great." Like at my job, like I could kill somebody and I wouldn't miss out on that hour's pay because that would be illegal. Like if it was an accident, like if I straight up like murdered someone, I'd go to prison. I probably wouldn't get my pay then, or I would, but it wouldn't matter because it'd probably go to for the victim's family. But which it should, if you murder someone, your money should go to the victim's family. I know they'll never get them back, but at least give them some. I mean, I don't have to worry about rent for a month. Their brother just gets murdered. That's what I think. I'm a very dark person, but like also want people to be nice to each other. Sometimes I feel like people are like, "Oh, you're too dark," or "That's so dark." They'll be some of the meanest people because sometimes I feel like people who can't handle dark topics. But then there's some people that talk dark, and then like you're like, "Whoa, you're crazy." So like, what I've learned is you can't judge a whole group of people by one thing. You gotta take it by ear. You gotta judge everyone individually, even though you shouldn't like judge people, but that's okay. Before I get into more some serious stuff, I always talk about food. This is how you make a good baked potato. The minimum requirements are salt and dairy. At the minimum, you need to salt it, put salt, olive oil on the outside, brush it, put some salt on it. Then when you cut it open, when you eat it, put some salt in and mix it up because potato is good, but it's very plain, so you need to add some salt. And then at least butter. So butter and salt at least. But then you can go, like do other things like sour cream and cheese. Then the next category is like heat slash flavor. So it could be like pepper, paprika, or garlic. Any mix of those would be good for it. And then the premium toppings, which would be bacon, chili, sausage, scallions, or broccoli. And any combination of that, I think, would make a really good baked potato. You could do, the salt and butter, and they could add cheese, sour cream, bacon, scallions. That's like the classic one, but you could add salt, butter, and broccoli. Get some greens in there. Not that like it may be unhealthy with all the butter, but at least you get some like nutrients rather than just if you put like some type of sausage on it. Because that's another thing about like health is it's about like making small adjustments. My cat just walked across me and rubbed up against me. He loves me. I love having a cat. He's cool. It's funny because he tries to lure birds in the house at the window. And it's so cute. But I'm like, oh, he's going to kill them. He wants to kill the birds. When we got him from the previous owner, it's been kind of cold this spring and like winter. So, like, the bugs haven't really been out, but I guess I used to hunt bugs. So, that should be good. I mean, even though bugs are living things, I feel like people don't treat bugs as like living things because they're like gross. I don't like when people torture bugs. Like I saw a video of someone tie a cockroach to a bottle rocket and lit it off. I don't think we should be doing that stuff, but I get it. Bugs can be gross, but there's so many of them. But I'm getting less and less grossed out by bugs. I don't know what it is about spiders because, like, it's inherently everyone's grossed out by spiders. It's probably because they have 8 legs and they're hairy, and like they just have such like a menacing, like, ugh, they're so like menacing, and like a giant spider's just like in the movies or like in Black Mirror, is just fucking scary. It's like, oh my gosh, ugh. I did speaking of horror trivia, they didn't ask anything about The Fly, but The Fly was a good one. The remake with David Cronenberg. His son Brandon's making some good movies. Like he made Infinity Pool. But to backtrack, just because I go in tangents, I did really like horror trivia. A lot of it was like about like different demons, which was very hard because demons have like weird names in these movies, like Valak or Bathsheba. And then there's like Toby, and they ask like the different like demons and like the different movies. Like in The Conjuring, who's the demon? In The Nun, who was the demon? And Paranormal Activity, who was the demon? So I thought that was really hard. Some of the questions were easy, like they did different rounds. Like the first round was like what's red rum spelled backwards in The Shining, which is murder. And then you got the one like in most horror movies, what color is the blood? And it's red. I thought it was gonna be a trick question like pink or something, or like like an off red. But no, that'd been fun if there's just like 4 different types of red. Just make it hard, like candy apple red, burgundy red, light red. But no, it's just like red, blue, green, or black. But do you remember like in elementary school when like it was a myth, people were like, yeah, blood's actually blue, but then when it immediately comes in oxygen, it turns red. And like I believe that until I was like 24. But it's red. So I got that question right. It's funny because I was playing and I lost the second round, but my wife, who doesn't like horror movies, who hates them, beat me. Which is like there's nothing emasculating about getting beaten by your wife, but it's pretty embarrassing when like that's your field. Like I love horror movies, and I lost to someone who doesn't like horror movies. But we had fun anyway, just like making fun of like the whole like free appetizer thing because like we kept saying stuff like, what if the next raffle win is like you get a soda but no ice? Or another raffle one would be you don't have to pay your credit card fee. But the trivia was really fun. And then they had a dance off with all the characters and stuff, and that was really fun. They had all the characters dress up like Billy the Puppet, uh Michael Myers. I almost said Halloween. I'm an amateur. They had Halloween, the guy from Halloween, which that is a very good trivia question. Uh, the Michael Myers mask is actually a William Shatner mask that he cut the eyes out of. So that one, if you ever doing horror trivia, just want to know. Michael Myers, he's a really good one. The one I got wrong was what was he originally referred to as? And it was like the shape, the shadow, the boogeyman, or the killer. But he was originally known as the shape in the beginning of the movie. That's how they like reference who he is, which makes sense. He's got a big shape. Another one was people probably know this one, but in Friday the 13th, the original killer was Pamela Voorhees, the mother. You know what's funny is I watched that one. That's actually the only Friday the 13th movie I watched because I don't know. But I forgot she was the killer. So it's funny. I thought he was, but I forgot. I'm not the biggest Friday the 13th fan. I think they're overrated. Like Jason's very iconic, but he's more like iconic than like his movies are. So I remember a few episodes ago, I talked about horror movies, but I love horror movies. I think they're amazing and they're good. I don't like watch like too much comedy stuff. And I said that one time. I said I usually watch like horror movies or psychological thrillers, and someone's like, "Oh, is that so you can feel something?" It's like, no, I see like so much comedy on a weekly basis that like I'm tired of it. Like people are like, "Do you listen to Kill Tony or do you watch a Slate special?" I'm like, "No," because I see like stand-up comedy multiple times a week. Like I just don't even like want to watch it. Like it doesn't cross my mind. I'm like, oh, it doesn't happen anymore. That's just because I've been around it so much like the past decade. Speaking of that, I am filming a special soon. I'm gonna announce it eventually, but I'm really excited to finally like if you follow my comedy for a while or like know me, I do jokes about driving and jokes about women I met before my wife. And I am ready to retire those jokes, but have them like kind of like showcase somewhere like really nice to where if someone wants to go back and watch them, they can. If I want to run down memory lane, just because I want to be nice to be done with them, and I just want to like work on more stuff, and I don't know, it should be fun. So look up for that in August 14th. I'll let you guys know where and who the openers are. I think it should be really fun. I'm really excited because I'm turning 30 on August 12th, and I think it'd be great. I've been wanting to do this for a couple years. They'd be like, "Oh my gosh, my 30th birthday, let's do a comedy special." It's like it should be fun. So hopefully, a lot of people come out. I'm doing 2 shows. Good news is, me and my wife though, we just put an offer on a house, so I get to do cool man things like going to Home Depot and add a lawnmower and power washer to my cart. We're having a home inspector check it out this week, and if that goes good, because we should get the house because the previous owners they signed the papers, so we have an offer, so it's going through. So as long everything looks good, and there's not enough radon to kill us, we should be good, and then we'll move in, and I'll update you guys throughout that, and like painting, and like I want to redo the yard. There's a bunch of like crabgrass in it, but like the backyard, there's a creek. I've always wanted to do a house was keep the front yard nice and presentable, in the backyard more natural looking for the animals and stuff. And I got to figure out how I want to do things, and then I'll buy a snowblower. The driveway's not too big, but a snowblower would be nice anyway, just because it'd make things like a lot faster. And so I'm looking forward to that. And that's another thing why I want the power washers because there's like a nice little deck and back part. And since there's like by a lot of like wildlife, it's probably gonna get dirty. And I'm probably not gonna use chemicals on it. I'll probably just use water so it won't like harm the environment too much. I mean, there's really no going back with the environment. We've harmed it too much. And me just like cutting back on a couple things doesn't undo what has been done to the whole world. But as long as in my little mind, I think it helps. That's good. This is a little shorter episode. I like to do longer episodes when I have guests because it's not just me talking. I try to extract as much information and weaknesses out of them as possible so we can use it against them. But also, I don't want to waste their time for coming out, making the trip. to my living room. So I like to do at least an hour, or if they want to do like less time, we do less time. But for me, you don't need too much of just me, even though I think highly of myself, because every hobby I have is like, people got to hear what I need to say. The last part I'm going to talk about is how to be a good listener, in my opinion. And I'm not trying to preach, but let's give some advice. So, when you listen to someone, you really got to listen to somebody. You got to turn your brain off and you got to really hear what they say. And you got to hear the tone of it. And you don't want to judge people. And sometimes, if someone like, they're like, "Oh, I made a mistake, I spent, I spent a bunch of money on a hotel, and when I went out there, I was trying to go to the Godzilla convention in Chicago, but I got the wrong week. So I booked a hotel, went there for nothing because I didn't check. I made the mistake of mixing up the dates. Don't jump on them. Just, let simmer for a minute and go, that sucks. I'm sorry. And then maybe, after you make jokes later, depending on your friendship relationship, they'd be like, but like, don't just immediately jump on them, And if like that's how like friends are, you can joke around, but not everything can be a joke, and just really like listen to them. And even if you think they're wrong on something, they might like say something, you can correct them. But I don't know, just like sometimes people just want to vent, and sometimes people know what they've done is wrong, and they don't need to hear it from you. Like someone they've seen do coke in a bathroom, they don't need to be judged by someone that's done coke in a bathroom. So, not to judge you, but no one's perfect. And don't be, I heard this new term, monitoring spirit, where you monitor your friends and you jump on them as soon as like they make a mistake. Like, I want to do this or I want to do that way. So, I just think to be a good friend, it's about listening. It's not about being a parent. It's not about like trying to be like, oh, you should have done this or that. Sometimes it's just like, damn, that sucks, and just move on and hang out. It's just, and then there's sometimes every relationship's different, but so like, just whole life is just like one like, it's just one crazy thing, and we should just like listen to each other, and we should just, I wish we could all get along. I've been told I've been naive, but I get it, we can't, but at least try to get along with your friends and family and partners. And I know it's not always possible because sometimes they might be a jerk, but just, if someone's a jerk, I don't know, this is how I approach if someone's a jerk. Try to spend as much time and energy with them as possible and just move on. Let them be a jerk to someone else. You don't have to get back at them. And I noticed that, like, I always heard this phrase, and people are like, if you're too nice, you'll be stepped on. But what I've noticed is the people that are mean actually have like less resources and friends at their disposal, because people are like, oh, like, life, it's just business. But like, people don't want to work with people who are mean. Like, I used to go to this mechanic, and every time I call him, he would tell me that my car sucks. It did suck. It was a Chevy Cruze, but I'm like, I don't want to hear this. I don't want to hear how their plant got shut down because of this car. I just want you to fix it, please. Like, I don't need to hear all this nonsense about your feelings on it. Just please fix my car. So I stopped going to him, and he lost my business. Not that, like, oh, I'm being a Karen. You're losing my business, mister. But no, you did miss out because he was a jerk. And it's just, so I think that is not good listening to people. But I just think that, we should all just be nice to each other. And life's too short. And if there's just more kindness, understanding, and just, it goes like listening before you judge someone, just try to take a second and go, like, what would I do in this situation? But be a good listener. Listen to your friends. Listen to your favorite podcast, podcasting by Brett Thomas, for instance. That's a good one. I just love plugging myself. I think it's really funny. People keep telling me my name's not original. It's like podcasting by Brett Thomas. Like, I don't know. I didn't realize like every podcast name had to be this most like intricate, like elevated, like thing. I don't know. To be honest, are podcasts even original? It's just talk radio. Is talk radio even original? People talked before the radio. So, um, yeah, it's just whatever. You can tell you're getting to me because the second week I'm bringing it up, but like, it just, it doesn't make sense. But also, I must be doing something right if people are shit talking me. Like, if I have a stand up bit and some shit talks it, I'm like, hell yeah, I'm doing good. But if everyone's shit talking it, maybe not. But speaking of everyone shit talking someone, the most unliked video of all time on YouTube is Justin Bieber, Baby, which is funny because when I was listening to metal in the 2000s, 2010s, you'd like go to like the comments of like a Slipknot video or a Whitechapel video, and they'd be like, "You guys know that you can just go to Justin Bieber's video and unlike it?" Which is really funny because that made him more money just being spiteful. Not much, but you know, it all added up. So I think that that's very funny. Like, yeah, we really showed Justin Bieber back then. Look where he is now. Uh, we showed him with those unlikes. So, which I never did, because I low key like the song "Baby." It is funny because like I think he's always a couple years older than me. So like when someone's older than you, always think they're like really old. But like now looking back, when I saw like the "Baby" video, I'm like, oh my gosh, that guy is freaking young. The same thing happened with Ryan Sheckler because when Ryan Sheckler came out, he was 13. I think I was like 9, maybe. I could be wrong. But then, like, a while, I'm like, oh, this kid's old. You know, he's already a teenager. I look back, I'm like, oh my gosh, it's a literal child that won the X Games. So that's pretty cool. But just, be a good listener. Listen to your friends, listen to your family. And also, you listen to people and people get to listen to you. And if someone, you're trying to vent, someone's like giving you all those options, just say, hey, listen, buddy, I just want to vent or I don't want criticisms. I know I messed up, but I just want you to listen. Just be a good listener to your friends and try to get along with people in your life and try to do something kind today. I know I said that and I haven't done really anything kind today, but I can be a hypocrite and project. I really appreciate you for listening to Podcasting by Brett Thomas. Honestly, give me feedback for the people that listen to. Like, let me know what you want me to do differently, or if you think of something I could do in the podcast that'd be fun that you'd like to listen to. I was gonna try to do like a fun game, like a this or that. Like I did one a video of this like last year, and it was like Stephen King book or town or city, and that was a really good video. But I really couldn't think of anything because I procrastinated way in last minute. So I might try to do that next week or the week after that because I might have a guest come on. But I really appreciate you guys for listening, and have a good week.